I don't know whether they're gonna like me or hate me, so.
Absolutely.
All right, do we have a nomination for vice chair?
I'll
I'd like
Oh, go ahead. You do.
to nominate Mr. Laney Brand.
I'll second.
Any other nominations, or we'll get a vote in favor of this? Everybody in favor of Lanny continue as vice chair? Move on. All right. This brings us to the adoption of the special called agenda. Is there any amendments? Seeing none, can I get a motion to accept the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, this brings us to the public comment section of this meeting. We'll limit it to 3 minutes. Anybody registered to speak? Oh, okay. All those in favor of the agenda? Motion carries. Thank you, Kate. Okay. Anybody from the public wish to speak? All right, seeing none, we'll move on. This is, the first item is to reaffirm all existing long-term county contracts. This is basically just restating what contracts we have. Can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to reaffirm all existing long-term contracts, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We got a first and a second to reaffirm the existing contracts. All in favor? Those opposed? The motion passes. Second item is reappoint and reaffirm existing employment contract with the county administrator and county attorney. Can I get a motion on this item?
Motion to reappoint and reaffirm the employment contract to the county administrator and the county attorney, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Got a first and a second. Any, to approve these contracts? All those, yes, sir.
Why are they not separated from each other?
Well, you could have made, an agenda amendment to separate them, but we didn't do that. So all in favor? Those opposed? Motion carried. All right, this brings us to the appointment of the Camden County Public Service Authority. This is for the elected official. Any nominees?
Everybody raise their hand at once.
I'll make a nomination for Lanny Brandt to continue.
Second.
All right, we got a first and second to appoint Lanny back to the Public Service Authority. All those in favor? Motion carried. This is a reappointment of Liz Johnson to the Camden County Board of Assessors. I get a motion on this item.
I made the motion. That's second.
Got a first and second to reappoint Liz. All those in favor? Motion carries. All right, this brings us to the final public comment section. We can speak until about 10 till, then we'll have to adjourn and get ready for the next meeting. Anybody registered?
Yes, sir, Ricky Manning.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board, Ricky Manning from Bullhead. I want to address, first off, is, well, I need to give this to you.
Thank you.
Anyways, back, December the 5th, I sent a request on an email to the planning director to have the magistrate court abate the noise at the gun range. Today is January the 16th. This was December the 5th. I have yet to receive a reply besides that they've received my email from the county. This is unacceptable, folks. 6 weeks go by and not even kiss it or whatever. That's not how we should be operating. Anyways, I'm not gonna read this whole email. There's no sense in it. It'll be in the meeting for anybody to read and for the rest of the board members to read. The whole thing is you know, Georgia has a code. The right of enjoyment of private property being an absolute right of every citizen. It's in the code. Y'all have disturbed my peace and quiet, and I cannot enjoy my private property. I'm not allowed to bring in the videos and the audios of the sound. And if y'all sat there and heard that 6 days a week, you would be appalled as it was by your house. Y'all have ignored me for almost 2 years now. And nothing is done. And you know, because y'all on Facebook, I know some of y'all, I see you. People in Browntown are hearing it. At Beulah Trailer Park are hearing it. People at May Bluff going into Folkestone hear it. And they have to hear the one at the D. Ray James, whatever they call it now, prison at the same time. They complaining about both of them. They're hearing it all the way down here at Old Jefferson Road, but yet y'all keep ignoring me. The range has not got decent acousticals. It's right here in your own report that y'all approved, the own study. There's no study there. Excuse me, folks, there's not. There's nothing in there. Y'all know it, I know it, and everybody in this world knows it. I'm tired of fighting this battle. This battle's gonna go to a legal court, and y'all know it. That's the reason I keep coming here and complaining, because every one is just another nail in the coffin, just as y'all ignoring an email sent to go talk to the magistrate court. All this is gonna pile up, and every bit of it's documented. It's in the meetings of the minutes, and y'all just keep ignoring it. I even got falsely accused of being blamed for getting the $200,000 turned down for the acoustical tiles. That is not what my statement read. And you know it. I had to prove that point to somebody before already. Well, you're the reason we turned that down. No, I'm not the reason. I said no money should go. Zero. But yet, here you are, you're still spending it. We're spending taxpayer money out here on a billboard, advertising so we can make even more noise. Y'all don't even address the lead. Y'all are really spreading lead all over this county and other counties because you're not following protocol. And you know that too. There's studies that shows it. And the more you shoot, the more you fire out there in this high humidity, the worse that lead gets on people's clothes, and they're hauling it everywhere, to home, to the kids, to the restaurants. But y'all keep ignoring it. Y'all keep ignoring it. I'm building it all up, and it's coming to a head. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anybody else, Professor? Anybody else wish to speak before the board? Seeing none, this brings us to the adjournment. Get a motion?
Motion to adjourn.
First and second to adjourn, all in favor? Motion carried. Meet back at 6 o'clock, start our regular meeting. Thank y'all. Commissioners meeting. Join us for the invocation given by Chairman or Commissioner Brandt, and join us in the pledge.
Let us pray. Father God, we love you. Father, we thank you for your grace and your mercies. Father, just be with us tonight. Give us the wisdom we need to do, go about doing the business of Camden County. Father, and also just continue to protect those who protect us, whether they be here or abroad. For this we pray in your glorious name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty for all.
Okay, attached to your agenda package, if you picked one up, is a code of conduct. I asked that everybody adhere to that. Roll call, Katie.
All commissioners are present.
All right. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Here are none. Can I get a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
We got a first and second to adopt the agenda. All those in favor? Motion carried. There's no changes to the minutes from the December 12th public hearing and regular meeting. Can I get a motion to accept those minutes?
Motion to accept.
Second.
We got a first and second to accept the minutes from December 12th. All those in favor? Motion carried. This brings us to our presentation of the night. This is fiscal year 2023 audit.
Are you gonna drive it for me or? Oh, perfect.
Yeah, do that. Good evening, everyone. Commissioners, my name's Trey Scott. I'm a partner with Malden and Jenkins. I was the partner who oversaw the audit of the county's 2023 financial statements, and certainly pleased to be here with you all this evening to discuss the results of that audit. Just kind of give you an idea of why I'm here. I'm going to introduce you to Malden and Jenkins. This was the first year we have audited you all, so you had a new set of eyes looking at the financials this year. Give you a quick overview of our auditor's report, our compliance reports, your financial statements, go over some required communications with you, and then certainly answer any questions that you all may have. Really quickly about Malden and Jenkins, we were founded over 100 years ago. We serve over 650 governmental entities throughout the Southeast. We do this across 13 offices in 5 states. And we provide over 135,000 hours annually to our governmental clients. So we're certainly committed to the governmental industry and certainly enjoy serving local governments. But enough about us. I think of particular importance to you all is our audit opinion on your financial statements. I think as you all know, that big, thick document, your annual comprehensive financial report, or ACFR, is the responsibility of the county's management. It's our responsibility as your auditor to provide opinions on that financial information based on our audit. And we do that by following generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. And I'm pleased to report to you all this evening that we were able to issue the county a clean, or what we call an unmodified opinion. And what that basically means is that your financial statements present fairly the financial position and the results of the county's operations as of June 30, 2023. And that's what you're looking for, a clean opinion. It's the highest level of assurance that we can provide to you. Also, I think you all may be aware, but if you're not, you present an annual comprehensive financial report, or an ACFR. And an ACFR goes above and beyond the required reporting of a local government, just well beyond just the basic financial statements. You present some additional information in an introductory section and a statistical section as well. And a lot of blood, sweat, and tears by the finance department goes into this document, something they're very proud of. And I think something you all should be very proud of as well for going above and beyond. Additionally, this ACFR is submitted to GFOA each year in their Certificate of Excellence program. And you all have received that certificate. This will be the 23rd year in a row. It's been submitted to GFOA. We haven't gotten the certificate back yet. It usually takes them about 4 to 6 months to review these, but we don't anticipate there being any issues and you all receiving that certificate for the 23rd year. So again, certainly something you all should be very proud of as well. Also included in your ACFR, along with our audit opinion and your financial statements, are a couple of compliance reports. The first being your Yellow Book report. If we had any big issues to report to you, this is where it would be. We had no findings. We had no management letter comments this year. I think that's just a testament to the hard work that the finance department does, Nancy and her team, on a daily basis, and certainly something they should be commended for. And again, another thing for you all to be very proud of. Additionally, anytime you spend more than $750,000 in federal expenditures, you're required to have what's called a single audit. It's where we take a look at your major grant programs to make sure you're in compliance with those grant requirements. We had no findings as it related to your single audit as well, and issued an unmodified or clean opinion on your grant compliance. Kind of jumping into the numbers a little bit. I know everybody's so excited to see a bunch of numbers up on a page, but I'll hit on a couple of the high points here. Within your ACFR, you have two sets of financial statements. You have a government-wide set of financial statements, which you only see once a year. And what that does is it takes all of your funds, everything, kind of rolls it up into one column, gives you that big picture view of the county. And if we take a look at your government-wide financial statements, you can see you had a kind of a bottom line. So the difference between your assets and your liabilities, which is that next to last bullet down there of about 139 million. This is not the cash that you have available to spend. It's just, again, the difference between your assets and your liabilities. You also increase that bottom line by about 4.7 million, and that's what we're talking about in that bottom bullet point. But I'm more of a pictures person than a words person. So I like to kind of look at trends. And one of the more common questions I get is, how healthy are we as a county? And an audit's not designed to tell you that. But where you can look in certain places for health. And one of the places I like to look is what's going on with net position, what's going on with capital assets. But let's look at the general fund. And we'll take a look at a few of these things here pretty quickly over the course of the next few slides. But this slide just is a good trend. Our revenues are trending up along with expenses as well. Things are tending to get a little bit more expensive these days. But also look at that gray column, and that's your net position. So your kind of your difference between your assets, your liabilities. And that's also trending up as well. So those are certainly good trends and nothing that really gives me any kind of concern. Another place to look for health is capital assets. How old is our capital asset base? And the closer that green bar is to the top of the blue bar would tell you that your capital asset base is getting older. Again, we're trending upwards. We're still reinvesting in the county. That blue bar is continuing to grow. So I don't really have any concerns as it relates to your capital asset activity either. So certainly a good thing there. So I alluded earlier that you had two sets of financial statements. You've got your government-wide and you have your fund level. Well, your fund level is what you're probably more apt to see on a monthly basis, quarterly basis. And more specifically, your general fund, because it's the big sibling fund of the county, right? So just a couple of quick things. We want to talk about health as it relates to your general fund. About 5.2 months of expenditures in your unassigned fund balance. That's a good place to be for a June 30 year end. You all are a property tax driven government. That's one of the revenues you rely on. When do we collect property taxes? Typically November, December, right? So at June 30, you're getting pretty lean when it comes to cash and fund balance, because we're going to have to waiting to get to collect those property tax revenues later on. So about 5.2 is a pretty good place to be as it relates to your fund balance. Another place for health, how liquid are we? You all could have paid your current liabilities, your accounts payable, your accrued payroll 14.2 times at June 30 year end with the current assets that you had. So that's a very good indicator of health, in that you have a good liquid position in your general fund. And here's just kind of looking at it graphically. Again, good growth in revenues, really good growth in fund balance. And I would say, a lot of times I get asked, well, what level should our fund balance be? That's not something I can tell you. What I can tell you is think about where Camden County is geographically. We may have to deal with, who knows, storms, right? Who expected a global pandemic in 2020? So you've got to be prepared for those things. While the federal government, the state government may reimburse us for costs as it relates to these kinds of things, we're going to have to put that cash up front. So having a good, healthy fund balance is certainly paramount. Lastly, with the numbers, taking a look at your major business type activity, your solid waste fund. No real concern again here. It did have a slight decrease in your net position, but net position is pretty healthy at 23.2 million. And then there's just kind of looking at it graphically as well. Your gray bar is your net position or your bottom line, the difference between your assets, your liabilities. So again, don't really see anything that gives me any kind of concern with your solid base plan. Finally, just some required communications, the financial statement disclosures, your accounting estimates, your accounting policies, all of these are integral parts of that ACFR and are the responsibility of management. We had no difficulties in dealing with management performance of our audit. We had no disagreements with management. We had no uncorrected misstatements, so we had no past adjustments. And then just finally, just want to make sure you're aware that we're independent of the county in accordance with all of the applicable standards of our profession. In other news, the Governmental Accounting Standards Board that is responsible for the standard setting of how we report things for governments has kind of given us a reprieve on new stuff. I think we've implemented new standards probably for the last 5 years, every year. So the next two that are coming up have very minimal impact on the county, but if we determine there to be a significant impact, we'll certainly work with the finance department on the implementation of those. And that pretty much concludes what I wanted to report to you all this evening. Again, a clean opinion, no findings, no management letter comments. The finance department is incredibly professional. They were great to work with, got us what we need when we needed it. And that is very, very refreshing from my standpoint as your auditor. It was certainly a pleasure to serve the county, and we look forward to serving you in the future. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Anybody got any questions for Trey or Nancy? All right, thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Nancy.
Mr. Scott, I do have just one question, and this is more so, I think, just for the general audience and the commissioners. So during the audit process, I know ARPA funds, those have been, quite a bit of questioning amongst, all local governments across the nation. But I mean, any concerns that you had or your office had on any of those funds or the accounting for those funds?
No, sir. And when I was talking about that single audit earlier, that was one of the major programs that we took a look at. It's one that we have to look at if you spend any of those funds. So no findings, no issues. You all are in compliance with the requirements of that grant program.
Okay, thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. All right, this brings us to the first public comment section of this meeting. You'll be limited to 3 minutes and agenda items only. Anybody registered, Kate?
Yes, Miss Elaine Lockamy.
Good evening. Hi, I'm, I hope I
Can you
could,
state your name and address, please?
oh, sure. Elaine Lockamy, 105 Bentry Court, St. Mary's, Georgia. Okay, I'm, nervous up here, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Actually, I'm a caregiver for my husband. He is a VA, a veteran, 100% disabled. What brought about the changing and aging and so forth that we have with the facilities we have is that he became that way very quickly. I had to address it. I had to learn very quickly how to take care of him. My previous career, I was a mechanical engineer, far from medical. But after working with my husband, getting certified through the VA program, I realized there's a lot of things that need some help with. And I'm looking at this for fresh eyes. I want to be part of your commission. It's just, it's more to my heart to see if I can help people. After working for years with big companies, I feel like you have to volunteer and give back. You have to give back. And this is a cause that I have a big heart for, and hopefully the talent to help you guys with things. One of my things that I worked with was buildings, building engineering, taking care of anything that with, let's just say, codes and so forth. So if I can help with that, I will. But just throwing my hat in the ring and see what happens. Okay? Thank you.
Anybody else wish to speak for the board? Go ahead, Mark.
Ms. Lockamy is here for the CRC position. You didn't say that. That's why she's here.
Yeah.
I asked her to come and explain why she wanted that position. Just wanted you guys to know that.
If nobody else wants to speak from the public, we'll get right in it. Item number 1. Shannon, is this you?
Hi, Commissioners. This is just a request for you all to confirm the qualifying fee for the position of coroner, which will be $346.50.
Get a motion on this item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
You got a first and a second to set the coroner's qualifying fee. All the other ones have already been set. All those in favor? Motion carried.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you, Shannon. That brings us to item number 2, appointment to the Coastal Regional Commission Area Agency on Aging. Who's handling that?
Commissioners, that's really between you all, but we did have 6 applicants. Carol Klassen, Charles Edie, Donna Schwartz, Elaine Lockamy, Evelyn Taylor, and Stephen Burling. I believe each of you received each application probably about 2 weeks ago, or maybe even 2.5 weeks ago.
We'll say this, I did call every single one of these folks. That's 6 great applicants. I wish that we could put them all on there because they were really, really good people. But we can't. But, you know, Miss Elena was here tonight. She cared enough to come speak to us. So
I make a motion to nominate Miss Elaine Lockamy for the position of our representative.
Okay, we got a motion. Anybody want to second?
I second it.
First and a second to appoint Ms. Lockamy to the Regional Commission Area Agency for Aging. All those in favor? Motion carried. You've been appointed, so.
Ms. Lockamy, we'll get you the details on when the next meeting occurs and just get you set up with the CRC.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. Next up is approval to award contract for our Park Pavilion metal roof replacements to W&B Real Estate and Construction LLC. This is specifically for the pavilions at the Satilla Waterfront Park and Howard Peoples Park. They're the open air pavilions that get used for multiple festivals and birthdays and all that. While we did our initial run through and inspection of all these pavilions, it was found that the decking is really rotting away at most of them. For one reason or another, and the Howard Peoples, the shingled roof, needs to be replaced, and because it is falling apart. We did put a invitation to bid out, received 1 bid. I did reach out to a bunch of the local roofing contractors, and none of them, they all knew of the bid, the invitation to bid, but none of them bid on it because they were busy with other jobs. They said that this one was just not on their radar for with the things that they have going on right now. So we got the 1 bidder with W&B Real Estate and Construction. We gave them 3 options. One was to replace just the decking, reuse the metal roof at Satilla Waterfront Park while putting a new metal roof on at Howard Peoples, and then just resealing Satilla Waterfront Park. Option 2 was to replace the decking and the metal roofing and install a new metal roofing at Howard Peoples. And option 3 was to completely tear down all of the pavilions and then rebuild them back exactly the same way they are with stick built and metal roofs on top. It's the department's recommendation, go with option 2. So that puts a brand new decking on all the pavilions and brand new metal roofs on all the pavilions. We also broke it down in between the cost for Howard Peoples Park and Satilla Waterfront Park. And so to do the 3 pavilions at Howard Peoples Park, it's going to be $62,500. And Satilla River Waterfront Park is $91,667, both 0 cents. And the reason we're doing Satilla, we had included Satilla Waterfront Park is because our deed does have us as a stakeholder in the Satilla Waterfront Park here in Woodbine. So it is the department's recommendation to award the contract for the Park Pavilion metal roof replacements to WB Real Estate and Construction LLC.
Chairman, I have a question.
Okay.
We ran this, how long, Matt, for the bid? Because that's a pretty good sized project for just one bid.
Yeah, well, so we ran it for 6 weeks or for 5 weeks. We had it advertised on our website, advertised in the paper. I had contact from, or I contacted prior to the bid, local contractors that were interested. They knew that it was coming because it's been on our parks projects list for a year and a half. I had different contractors asking about it. But when it came down to actually submitting a bid, only the one bidder came back.
And the Woodbine project's $91,000?
The Woodbine project is $91,666 or $667. Yes, sir.
I can't go for that, and I can't approve a single bid for the amount of money we're talking about. But Howard Peoples isn't that big, but Woodbine, and that's the county's funding the entire project, right?
Yes, sir. So we've spoken several times with the city of Woodbine, and have received nothing back from them.
We're 50-50 in that part of the city of Woodbine.
Yes, sir.
So, but the deed actually, to clarify, the deed states that the grantor, which is the city of Woodbine, has agreed to furnish water and sewer facilities and to maintain said improved land. So that would technically make them solely responsible
Yep.
for replacing the improvements.
Yes, sir.
That's my opinion.
Is it possible to split these? Table the waterfront part, but also go ahead and do the Howard Peoples? Is that possible?
We're still looking at a single bid.
Right.
Technically, yeah, I think we can split it.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
You
I know
can
we're
accept
still-
all or partial. I said you can select all or partial of any bid.
I'd rather see somebody local, of course, I would, but if they don't have time to do it, then you'd have to go a different route. And
Where did you say the bidder was based out of?
This bidder is based out of Hoboken. So not too far. No, Brantley County Roofing is still called Brantley County Roofing.
and still located here.
Yeah, we still have a branch here as well. Yeah, we use them quite often for some of the smaller projects. And they also knew of the bid and did not bid on it.
What would be the timeframe, just say for discussions or discussion, if we sent this back out for bid, what kind of timeframe would we be looking at?
So we'd be looking at another 4 to 5 weeks for the bid process to happen, plus another 2 weeks to review the bids again. And then it really honestly delays it about 3 to 4 months in total from the start of the bid process until we get it approved and then the construction can happen. And that's all based on how quickly we can get, or the contractor can get metal roofing material in. So it could be excess of, 6 months, depending on what the metal roofing we're looking for.
Yeah,
And this is-
one of the driving forces too was the Crawfish Festival. So, we understand that Crawfish Festival utilizes the waterfront park. So it's part of the process with this, but, considering the deed issues, the ownership issues, that's something that was brought up and had a few meetings with the city of Woodbine.
What's the city move the deed over their interest? This part?
I don't know that we ever proposed that. I think, part of the proposal was, we would cover, 75 or 80% of the cost, even though the deed is 50/50. I think we all understand the city of Woodbine's financial, state. I don't know that they ever came back with anything. I'm looking at Seth, I think, they were supposed to get back with him, but we haven't heard anything yet.
But I remind you, the reason we got into this a year and a half ago for the county parks was because they were in disarray and they needed to be updated. And nobody was doing anything with them. And so if we update the Satilla Waterfront Park, if we do update the Satilla Waterfront Park, that gives us the option to then potentially deed it back to them and just completely wash our hands of it. in good condition, in a condition that, you know, we're proud of giving it to somebody else.
You're giving it back to the city of Woodbine or the PSA?
City of Woodbine.
City of Woodbine.
Is the structure condemned to the point that it couldn't be used for the crawfish festival?
No, none of the, structures are to the point where we could not use them.
I wish they were. 'Cause
That would put a little pressure on them. Yes, it would.
Recommendation was stop it from being used due to the fact that
Yes.
there is areas of it that falling in.
When is the crawfish?
March.
And April,
The canopy issues at the waterfront is the underside, the undercoating, that decking is falling in. They put metal over that, you know, the shingle asphalt roof. Beforehand, they just put metal over top of that, but unfortunately, all of that had just rotted away and it's starting to collapse in, so. That's part of the main issue over at the waterfront.
That sounds like a condemnation issue to me.
Well, I think, you know, I don't know, because we only own half of the property, so, yeah, could we condemn, structures on that facility without their approval? I'm not quite sure.
It's public safety issue.
I mean, if it's public safety, then yeah, I think so. Yeah.
that's not my call.
Is this gonna have an effect on the crawfish festival?
I think so. Yeah.
More than likely.
Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't be able to use the one canopy. There are two out there.
The crawfish festival is a big draw for Woodbine. We understand that, and it's a moneymaker, but the city claims they get nothing, no revenue off of it whatsoever. So somebody's getting the revenue, but not using it back to benefit the facilities. None whatsoever, so we gotta look at it.
All right, does anybody want to make a motion on this?
Can we table it till the next meeting? We're meeting again next week, right? That gives us another week to negotiate. I think you're having trouble even getting someone to repair the boat ramp at Harriet's Bluff as well, right?
Just spoke with another gentleman today, but yes,
Are they local?
yes. So we've got, so contractors in general right now, are focused on new builds because that's where the money's at and that's where you're gonna make your bang for your buck. Renovations, any renovation project I have right now is going very slow just because I can't find contractors to do the renovation. All the local renovators, all the local contractors are focused on their new builds and each one has multiple, new build sites that they're working with. So it's been real difficult to find local contractors. And we're starting to look in Brunswick and Jacksonville because of that. We're gonna find the same thing there, but it at least broadens our base.
1 week's not gonna make that much of a difference, right?
1 week's not gonna make that much difference in this contract, but it might also not make that much difference in the negotiations either. So we've been negotiating for 2 weeks, 3 weeks now.
All right, let's take these two items separate. Okay, you want
I make a motion, we do Howard Peoples Park, if that's the way to do it.
to, okay? We got a motion to set the bid for Howard Peoples Park. Any discussion on that?
Is there anything pressing that one could wait for?
You could wait, but I mean, it looks pretty bad. It's not, that'd make that park look a lot better.
Yeah, I think as far as aesthetics, it would look a lot better, but you know, it's not as pressing as the
No,
waterfront.
I
would
don't
say.
think it's gonna hurt anybody. It's not a safety issue. But if you split them, then you can continue to negotiate on Woodbine and negotiate with Woodbine. And the other one, you don't penalize them. You go ahead and repair that.
You want to make that motion that we do Howard Peoples Park?
Yes.
I'll second that. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor of awarding the contract for Howard Peoples Park? Those against? 3-2. All right, now, the Woodbine Park. You want to table it to the next meeting? Is that your motion?
That's my motion.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All All those in favor of tabling it to next week? Okay, that Woodbine's tabled to next week.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Good evening, Commissioners. I'm Doug Wellner. I'm Lieutenant over Marine Unit at Camden County Sheriff's Office. I'm here to present a docking solution for the preservation of the boat hulls and motors. The Sheriff's Office has had to deal with electrolysis, harsh water conditions, sea growth on the bottom of the boats. The electrolysis don't affect fiberglass boats, but it's pretty harsh on the aluminum boats. Right now, and in the past, we've had to do frequent maintenance on the boats to keep the integrity of the holes and the wiring up and whatnot. And this is an approved item on the SWIFT Lamp contract budget for this fiscal year. The CPAN is a good solution. It'll keep the boats, motors out of water completely dry. There are several different options were considered, but based on our needs with the local water conditions, the CPAN looks to be the best option, and it has a chance, or it has a less chance of scratching and doing any damage to the bottom of the boat holes. The CPAN is also designed where all the boats can utilize it. You can raft up to it. The St. Mary's City Council already approved us to use this type of docking system. And our agency recommends the board approve this item.
My only concern with, if we had approval from City of St. Mary's, and it looks like we've got that.
I have a question. So do y'all use any kind of zinc bars on the front?
Yes, sir. We use a lot of zinc bars. We actually have extra zincs on the trim tabs. We have we use Bex down in Jacksonville for a lot of our maintenance, and they'll tell you our area has one of the harshest electrolysis conditions for our waters. The Park Service has a metal boat, and they've had wiring issues from electrolysis. Their foot on the motors, a brand new motor may get 700 hours out of it on a brand new motor because of just the electrolysis. So we've actually got extra zincs. They'll eat them up in a month. I'm like on a monthly basis repairing those zincs. So, I mean, that, especially on their metal boat, I've seen their boat's down right now from wiring issues on their jack plate on their Munson boat.
Can I get a motion from the top?
Where is this device located? Is it in a fixed location or does it?
The CPAN? Yes, sir. So it'll be attached to the docking where we dock currently. It just butts right up to the dock, and then you can take and drive any boat up on it. There's no power required. Keeps the boat out of the water.
And if you don't have to kill me, if you tell me where is that facility located?
Downtown St. Mary's. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We have the old part of the dock where we dock both our boats, two slips. Yes, sir.
I'm looking at some pictures here in the back. Looks like it has a bar that kind of comes back in. Is that how it works or?
I think the back and the board, that's that would be a anchor system for that boat. It's just, so you just drive up on there, it gets on the netting, and you can just ease it off of there.
How quickly can you deploy from that in an emergency situation?
With this one here, it's way quicker than the jet dock system that's in that packet. It's pretty much instant. I mean, maybe I would say minutes.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, got first and second. Any more discussion? All those in favor? All right, next item.
You and Mr. Chairman. I'm Captain Brown with the Camden County Sheriff's Office. I'm here to ask the commissioners to consider the approval for 8 complete equipped police pursuit Dodge Chargers that we're getting to purchase. We took the lowest bid and we went with those, and that's what our agency are asking that we get those approved. Yes, sir.
We were told by the sheriff's department standing right over there, that Dodge Charger is the worst vehicle they've ever owned.
Yes, sir.
And now Chrysler's giving them up. They're not gonna build this Charger, the police pursuit and everything anymore.
Well, they
Is
just,
that because they give such bad service to all the police departments?
no, sir. They have upgraded their Chargers. And one of the reasons that we have to go with the Dodge Chargers is because there's no other vehicle out there that we can find at the time that we found these.
You got a lot sitting down here full of cars and something about the equipment.
Yes, sir. Those that sit down there, we just purchased those. We wait for them to line up to get equipped. There's nothing on them but the sticker on the door. And they have already been moved to the facilities for they can be, equipped out.
Are these Chargers, are they already equipped?
No, sir. We're gonna have to equip them when we buy them, purchase them.
How long would that take?
We're looking at a few weeks down to months. Where everything's backed up and then with the shortage. Every time you order something, it's on back order.
My understanding was that you could get 8 of these for the same price you could get 7 Chevrolet or Ford.
Yes, sir. We even got a discount on these. They took a break on us and gave us a $4,800 break on them. And so if you're looking at your thing, I think we was purchasing them for 37 and now we're getting them at 36.4. So they cut us a good deal with them, and the guy has been holding them for y'all approval.
How many did we have down at the old Station 11 that are?
I think we had 7. Yes, sir. And those are interceptors. We tried to get more interceptors, but at the time when we was purchasing these and we could not find them.
All right, can I get a motion on this item? I'll make a motion, we approve this. It's already in their budget.
I'll second.
Got a first and a second. Any more discussion on that?
Just one more little thing.
Yes, sir.
In the past 5 years, we spent $3.8 million for vehicles for the first time. 3.8 million, a little over 3.8 million. That's a lot of vehicles. That's a lot of vehicles for a small department.
You said 5.
I do have a question. How do these cars perform compared to the SUVs?
Me, myself, I would rather have a SUV, but I'm a big person. You need a little room riding 12 hours. They perform very well with the new upgrades that they did. They're all-wheel drive now. The ones that we have, our older ones, are just 2-wheel drive, heavier transmission, so it'll be less maintenance.
That was my only hesitation. I thought the SUVs might seem more practical.
Yes.
Days were over, you got a lot of gear, a lot of equipment.
If we can find them.
Yeah, I hate to see us buy something because I guess we can't find what would be most ideal. But I was also wondering if we could, what kind of effort could be put into expediting the equipment on the car sitting down there at Station 11? Maybe they've been in for a month or two. But just, does a third party outfit those? And if so, is that the same party that outfits the one we're talking about?
These, I believe we're gonna take them to our local people here in Brunswick and see can they go a little faster, because we got those down there. I didn't write that down, but don't trust me on that, so I'm not sure. Yes.
All right. Any more discussion? All those in favor of buying the 8 Chargers? Those opposed?
Thank you.
3-2. Thank you. All right, this brings us to calendar, Katie.
There's no changes at this time.
County Administrator comment?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. If I can just have Mr. Chuck White come up, our EMA Director, just to kind of brief the board on what we're doing in preparation for the next few 5 days of really cold weather that we got coming up. Thank you, Chuck.
Thanks, Sean. Mr. Chairman, good evening. Commissioners, I've got Chuck Barley with me. This is kind of a joint operation between Emergency Management and the Camden County Sheriff's Office. As you know, we've got a forecast for a hard freeze. We will get to near record lows, probably between now and into sometime late Thursday. And so anticipating this, last Friday, we called a meeting. Commissioner Turner was part of that meeting where we pulled together our faith-based organizations to talk about prime the pump, kind of get everybody to thinking about how we could stand up and provide support, which is typically what is called a warming center, which is shelter light. And then, effective yesterday and today, we started kind of going out saying, hey, can anyone activate to support this? There were kind of some possibilities, but nothing really cement. And, from our standpoint, we're kind of getting into an emergent requirement. And so as has been done in the past, I reached over to Chuck Barley with the Sheriff's Office to say, hey, look, can we make the annex available to support this? And then look at our faith-based partners to provide transportation to and from or any other support that we might need for it. So kind of finding a hybrid model of what really is typically a nonprofit lift in terms of any sheltering, unless it is emergent sheltering on a large scale. So this is really not our primary responsibility, but it's got to get done. And so recognizing it's got to get done, we've worked together to come up with a solution. And that solution has been advertised. Transportation's in place. Mr. Barley's made sure the facility is ready to receive. It's an imperfect solution, but it is a lot better than finding yourself in the elements and potentially wind chill of in the teens in the next few days. So we think this was the best solution we could pull together. I've kind of kept Sean, our county administrator, briefed on it. A lot of help from our volunteer organization, Active in a Disaster Coordinator, which is Julie Hagler. If Julie's listening, Julie's been a big part of always doing the liaison to our faith-based and nonprofit community. And I'm ready to answer any questions you might have about how we're going to accomplish sheltering.
Anybody got any questions for Chuck?
Just a statement. I think this is really good. We're going to have to keep working on it. You're right. It's a hybrid at this point. However, you see the good in the community when things like this happen. Ravens of Elijah did grab bags. I took them to Chuck this afternoon. You got all that. All of that's ready. I saw the Salvation Army up at Pastor Ham's place while I was coming this way.
Sure. And
they're ready to actually cook hot food and deliver it if you guys need it. So.
Yeah, let me follow up on that. Thank you, Commissioner. And there's too many to name, but there are a lot of organizations that really do mobilize and help us. But I want everyone to kind of take on board that we're not talking about a tornado that touched down and I've got 25 families have been immediately displaced from their home, right? These are, residential type homes. This is typically when they're unsheltered or homeless, there are a lot of issues that come with that. We could be dealing with mental health, behavioral issues. There are problems with it. And it is difficult when you try to look at just our churches as an example and expect them to open their doors up and have staff that would be trained and prepared to manage, in an overnight setting, that clientele. And not in every case are they going to have those underlying issues, but in a lot of cases they do. So working with the Sheriff's Office, again, not a perfect solution, but it's the best solution that we can pull together when you've got life-threatening conditions that Camden County is now facing. So we do also believe that there are a number of groups, and I want to call one out. Safe Harbor is working on getting a head count on those that are homeless. They're working on the potential for a grant through the Department of Community Affairs to try to look at either refurbishing or building some type of a shelter. Pastor Ham is a standout with Kings Village and Kingsland. So a lot of folks out there really offer and step up, but they're limited sometimes in what they can take on. And we recognize that. And with the Sheriff's Office, we're able to come up with, we think, a workable solution. And I appreciate your time this evening.
Thank you, Chuck.
Thank you. Thanks.
This brings us to the final public comment section of the night.
Just one final thing real quick, if I may, Chairman. I just wanted to congratulate Nancy and her staff for doing amazing work through the audit process. If you've ever gone through one of those as staff, especially with how many funds we manage and how many books we keep, it is a significant overhaul, and I'm just very excited and really thankful for everything that you and your staff do. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Ness.
That's all, Mr. Chairman.
All right, this is our final public comment section of the night. We'll be limited to 3 minutes. Anybody ready to speak?
No, sorry.
Anybody from the public wish to speak to the board? All right, at this time, we need a motion to adjourn the special call meeting and convene an executive session for the purpose of real estate and, IT related stuff for the sheriff's office.
So moved. Second.
All in favor? All right, we'll be back.
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Second. Yeah. We need a motion to adjourn the special, the executive session and reconvene the special called meeting.
So moved. What are y'all waiting on?
Like one of y'all's gonna second that?
Second.
All in favor? We're back in our meeting. Is there any, actions from the executive session?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. Motion to approve Camden County Sheriff's Office renewal of public safety software suite for $162,057.76. And also a motion to approve Camden County Sheriff's Office electronic citation preparation software and hardware for $33,279.
Second.
All right. Got a first and second, all in favor? Motion carried. All right, need a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? And we're done.